All right, the very tragic tale of Frodo Baggins. And this is the weight of the ring, which is really all about addiction and trauma, all wrapped into one. And let's remember what Frodo's life was like just prior to that, right? Before the whole mission started, he had a whole different life. He was a whole different person. And that's what he has to reckon with by the end of this adventure, this Lord of the Rings adventure. Now, he doesn't win by destroying the ring. In fact, he actually fails. He goes all the way to Mount Doom. He's given all this of himself to be at this moment to finally have to destroy the ring, to be the one who destroys the ring, and he cannot do it. The ring ultimately won. That's the most significant part of it. The ring won him over too. The same way it had done Gollum and everyone previously, the way that it corrupted them, it corrupted Frodo ultimately in. And it was only Gollum's obsession that pushed it to finally get the job done. That was a pure accident. So this failure reveals the psychological cost of this prolonged exposure to power. Frodo had been living with this addiction, this compulsion, and this psychological erosion. The ring is trauma in object form, and he carried it so long that it rewired his brain. He did completely. We saw him going through the process, and each stage he's changing, not realizing that he's losing this fight. So when he comes back to the Shire after all is done, he can't even enjoy the peace that he fought for. The food tastes dull to him, the songs feel hollow, and his friends can move on in ways that he cannot. This is some classic, very post-traumatic stress issues. He's physically home, but spiritually he's exiled. So he embodies this ultimate survival guilt. He knows countless of lives were lost. He watched all these people die for him, his best friends. And yet him, the ring bearer, didn't even have the strength to honor them in the end. And that guilt festers because he knows. Most people probably don't know what really happened, but he knows. And his scars are constant reminders. The Morgul blade, that never heals. The finger that was bitten off, these are psychological scars that are very deep. He looks at Sam, who miraculously can return to normal family life. He enjoys the proceeds of what they did. But Frodo feels this gulf between them. He can't cross that. So this alienation makes him both tragic and profoundly human. He saved the world, but he can't save himself from the memory of what it cost in order to do that. So on this level, he's kind of a Christ-type figure, but a failed Christ figure. He dies on the journey. He comes back altered and must depart to the west, like an ascension. Yet unlike Christ, he doesn't heal others with his wounds. His wounds isolate him from them. And story says, not every savior gets to enjoy salvation. Some must pass the torch, broken and incomplete. So in this whole, story of him leaving towards the west, he's leaving for the Undying Lands. This is both a metaphor for death and for healing in one. And it's the idea that some wounds cannot be healed where they were made. So psychologically, Frodo, he's choosing to leave behind the things that remind him of his trauma. Choosing a place where he might finally find peace, even if it means abandoning the life that he fought and gave so much for. So at the end of it, he isn't a victorious hero in any way. He's a case study in the cost of heroism and failed heroism. It consumed him. He was defeated by this. And he represents the truth that some burdens are just too great to walk away from and be unchanged. And it teaches us that even in a victory, as we call it, the psyche may remain on the battlefield. And sometimes the only healing is to let it go. And Frodo has to live with that knowledge. I think psychologically, if he had remained able to, in the end, throw that into Mount Doom himself, it paints a different story. But because of the failure, because of in that last moment, his chance to really prove himself, the ring was undefeated. And that's the scary thing about it. It's not for happenstance. It's not for chance. The ring still wins and still remains like the dominant force. So give me your thoughts about it, but just kind of a deep dive into what was going on in Frodo's head.